today with McCreary County Executive Assistant Joshua Stevens, who also serves as the Economic Development Director. Joshua, I know that you're a big part of everything that happens in McCreary County. What opportunities does America 250 celebration create for McCreary County?
Well, Miss Debbie, thank you so much for the interview today. But, this project means so much to the nation as a whole. But for us here in McCreary County, it's just really important that we showcase our culture, which I believe has a wonderful blend. I'm from here and proud to be from here, and would like to share that with the world.
How is county leadership preparing to leverage tourism visibility during this celebration?
Well, county leadership is very much involved with partnerships with community groups, schools, our local tourism. Really, this project, being year long, we've sat down, we've had meeting after meeting, details in place, as you know, for the event at hand, and we're just excited to be a part of it.
I know you support tourism, and our goal is just to showcase our beautiful county and all we have to offer. What types of partnerships do we have that are being developed with local businesses and maybe other community organizations for this event?
Well, the effort really takes everybody on board. When we are able to utilize this collaboration across each sector, it creates synergy, which just makes us all stronger. So we get to have the best of both worlds, the blend of small town community life.
How important is this America 250 to introducing new visitors to McCreary County and investors?
Yeah, Miss Debbie, I think that it's so important. First impressions matter most. And so, when folks come here and they see tangibly, what we have to offer, we've done a wonderful job in, working with the Forest Service and other, local and state partners that, showcase this in such a way that these folks really feel like they get to be a part of that experience. But as far as opportunity to invest in our local economy, we've got a thriving community full of entrepreneurs and folks that have been truly resilient through different decades of challenges. But here in Appalachia, we have had our own set of challenges, but it just makes everyone stronger. And I think when folks see that and see the pattern that's woven into the fabric of the folks that live here, I think that they can't help but want to be a part of that.
We've talked about the beautiful area that we live in. Are there plans to improve any of the infrastructure or signage or public spaces prior to the 250 celebration on the 4th of July itself?
Absolutely. We are seeking funding now to be able to better, show folks that if you're not from here, well, how do I get to X, Y, and Z? And so, yes, signage is definitely on the forefront of our minds. And so we're working and have a strategic plan in place, working with the Heritage Foundation, of course. We want to be able to really keep up with standards set forth several years ago when we had the Federal Bureau of Prison come to town.
What role do you think historic preservation plays in economic development?
Well, I think that it's your foundation, really, in that if you don't have to create a story, you start with where you are, which is the truth. We came from an economic boom in the early 1900s. It carried us for so many years, and everyone has such wonderful, fond memories of those times. And that was not only close akin to where we are and who we are, but it stretched all the way throughout this region and our part of the state. And so, as things shift, as things change, um, we have come to the place where we've switched gears, if you will. With that being said, we can't forget from where we came from, and so I really think it's the salt to the casserole, if you will. It's not bland; it's real. It's rich, and it's got flavor.
It does have flavor. I love spicy. We have a unique blend of our outdoor recreation. So much of our county is owned by the government, over 80%, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. Our railroad history, our coal heritage, and our Appalachian culture. How do we merge those and kind of market all those things together?
The thing that comes to my mind, the snow globe effect. Everything is in the same purview, and so how do you take these different components and don't just leave them out of the snow globe, but how do you put them in, showcase them in such a way that says, hey, yes, this rail system used to be used to haul coal. But now it's used for tourism, and so it really, like I said, it just gives that flavor, that taste of I'm going back into a time of setting that folks lived on a very everyday basis, and so these folks are getting to capture that.
We have a lot of cooperation between counties. How does that maximize your efforts for economic development and also for tourism?
Well, what I call it is familiarization. We were just in a meeting the other day where the state, was at the very last step of approving some funding that we had sought after for economic development. It's just all beneficial, and having mutual respect, it goes a long way.
I agree. That mutual respect is very, very important. How is this county ensuring that events and activities appeal to both the residents of McCreary County as well as to visitors? How can all these events and activities kind of meld together to support both of those entities?
Well, I think that we're very blessed to have folks who have some of the best attitudes that I've ever seen. And it really is just their way of life, because they have chosen to stay here in McCreary County and to experience that, and family means so much. And so I think that the bridge to that is that we just have a community that's willing to serve, and everybody enjoys that type of atmosphere.
I'm glad that you talked about the volunteerism and the ability to serve. We have the Big South Fork Depot in McCreary County. We have a shop called the Artisan Shop that opened in 2021, and none of the people who work there are paid employees. And during our Polar Express, we have over 300 volunteers at the high school, middle school, and adult level that volunteer there. I think that I have never lived or worked in an area where the support and everyone giving what they can give is any greater than in McCreary County. And that comes from the top down. That comes from the county government all the way down, that people feel respected and feel like they have worth, and that other people see their worth.
I totally agree, and I appreciate that so very much. Judge Green and I were talking just yesterday about how this type of job, if you will, we don't really look at it as a job. We look forward to coming in every day and trying to solve issues that are complex. It definitely will stretch you from time to time, but it all comes back down to that public service piece. It's either you're called to that or you're not, and just that community aspect you were referring to. I've seen that. I've witnessed it. All my life. It's kind of one of those anecdotes. Well, some folks may feel as if they don't have much to give, but they'd still give you everything they had. And so when we see folks coming out, in like you say, the hundreds to support, and they're not being financially compensated. They're purely volunteers. Altruistic. It's just beautiful. It's really it's something that you just have to experience for yourself.
And something you don't see in a lot of places. It's
Very
just
true.
something almost unique to this area. There are a lot of economic sectors may benefit from increased tourism. What is your idea on how these increased tourism can benefit the county as a whole and businesses in particular?
Well, I think from a financial economic standpoint, you've got things that have already been instituted by local government, and so as money filtrates in and out, it changes many different hands, whether that be business owners, local business owners. We're paying our part and our fair share to the state government, which in turn, a lot of those dollars come right back to us for reinvestment. So going back to capturing, how tourism can be an economic driver. Well, we've got private investment such as the Cumberland Falls RV resort that's on the north end of our county, that's just below the Cumberland Falls. And so that and all that the McCreary County Heritage Foundation has planned for downtown Stearns, the revitalization, the RV park, all of this is a catalyst for that.
How important is the social media and the digital marketing in promoting McCreary County to a broader audience?
Yes, we use that, to do local community public announcements, which is so beneficial. But, being able to spread the wealth, if you will, what I could tell local folks, when you see these events being publicized, know that not just everyone in your backyard is reading the comments. Everyone outside of these parts are reading those comments, and if we can all be positive and supportive, we're really going to win. I just encourage everyone to stay in tune with that mindset.
Exactly. I love a positive mindset. Absolutely. Working together. Do you see this America 250 event that we're planning, specifically on the 4th of July, although there will be an art exhibit in June? But do you see this 4th of July as a one-time or as a longer-term tourism opportunity and economic growth strategy?
Well, I really don't know as far as longer term, other than, this is going to be the push this year for the 250th, but I think we're going to feel it much further. So I'm excited and thankful for this push.
What message would you like to share with the residents about the importance of supporting this 250-year celebration of our country?
I think probably the best attitude as far as our local folks and what they can do to support. If I were to invite you over to Thanksgiving dinner, I would want you to enjoy your time there, and I would want you to feel appreciated and accepted, and make you want to feel like you belong. Make them want to be here. Make them want to come back. And you just never know. They might want to move here and be a part of our community. And some of the greatest folks that have made such major impacts have been just that, transplant folks or folks that have went off and come back retired here. That's an excellent place to retire. I can get on that. I'm sure that's another subject.
And I know that if there's any local residents of McCreary County or neighboring counties that would like to participate in our 250, there are Google Forms on the McCreary County Museum website for parade entries, for craft vendors, for food vendors, and for the essay contest, and also for the quilts and the art. So everything that anyone should want to know can be found on that site. Also, there's hard copies at the McCreary County Library, McCreary County Tourism Office, and right here in the McCreary County Courthouse. We thank you so much for talking with us and sharing everything, and for the great work that you do every single day. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. We appreciate everything you do as well.